The nurse looked at my wristband twice before saying anything. Then she stepped closer. Then she went quiet. I was sitting on the edge of an examination bed, wearing a faded housekeeping uniform that smelled faintly of bleach and floor polish. My name was stitched onto the fabric in crooked thread. Lena Brooks, age 41, divorced, financially ruined, and invisible to nearly everyone who walked past me in those hospital corridors every night. "Stay here," she said carefully. Not kindly, not warmly, carefully. That word stayed with me longer than anything else she said. 10 minutes later, 3 doctors entered the room together, moving with the kind of quiet urgency that makes your chest tighten even before you understand why. One of them pulled up a chair. Another closed the curtain behind them. The third held a file in his hand like it weighed more than paper should. "Miss Brooks," the woman said softly, "we found something in your test results that requires immediate confirmation." I almost laughed, because 3 months earlier, my ex-husband had left me standing in an empty apartment with nothing but unpaid bills and a message that still echoed in my mind like broken glass. "Enjoy being nothing." That was the text he sent. Not goodbye, not apology, just humiliation packaged into 4 words. And that night, everything he believed about me began to collapse. But before everything collapsed, my life looked painfully ordinary. That's why I trusted it. I met Ryan Brooks when I was 25 years old, during a time when I still believed marriage was built through patience, sacrifice, and loyalty. He wasn't wealthy, he wasn't influential, but he spoke confidently about the future like it was already waiting for him. And back then, confidence felt like stability. "We're going to build something big," he told me once, while we sat in a small diner sharing a plate of fries because we couldn't afford separate meals. I believed him. I believed every word. We married 2 years later in a modest ceremony filled with borrowed decorations and borrowed optimism. There were no luxury details, no expensive promises, just sincerity, hope, and the quiet belief that struggle meant progress. For years, I supported his ambitions the way spouses are told to, quietly, reliably, invisibly. I took flexible jobs so he could chase opportunities that demanded late nights and unpredictable schedules. I handled bills, scheduled appointments, remembered birthdays, balanced responsibilities that no one noticed until they stopped being done. He called me his foundation, his stability, his quiet strength. And for a long time, I believed that was enough. Then something shifted, not dramatically, subtly, like air slowly leaking from a tire. Ryan began staying out later. His conversations grew shorter. His attention moved elsewhere. His phone never left his hand, and when it did, it rested face down like a secret too dangerous to expose. When I asked questions, he dismissed them. "You worry too much," he said. "You overthink everything." I wanted to believe him, so I did, until the night I discovered the truth without meaning to. I walked into a downtown restaurant during lunch break to pick up takeout. I heard Ryan's voice before I saw him. That laugh, confident, relaxed, a sound I hadn't heard at home in months. Then I saw her, tall, elegant, effortlessly confident. She wore wealth the way some people wear perfume, subtle, unmistakable. Her hand rested lightly on his arm. He didn't move it away. I stood there longer than I should have, watching the way he leaned toward her with admiration I hadn't seen directed at me in years. That was the moment I understood, not through evidence, through instinct. That night I confronted him. He didn't deny it, didn't hesitate, didn't apologize. "She lives in a world you don't understand," he said calmly, "and I belong there." The divorce happened quickly, too quickly, almost as if he had planned it long before telling me. 3 days after he moved out, my phone buzzed. A photo filled the screen. Ryan standing beside a luxury yacht. A woman beside him, smiling like victory. Below the photo were 4 words that burned themselves into memory. "Enjoy being nothing." I stared at those words until they stopped feeling like language and started feeling like verdict. That was the moment everything inside me broke. not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, permanently. Life after that became survival. Not living, not dreaming, just survival. Savings disappeared faster than expected. Interviews led nowhere. Employers hesitated. References vanished. Opportunities dried up like water in desert heat. Eventually, I accepted the only job available: night cleaning staff, minimum wage, endless hours, invisible labor. Hospitals at night feel different from hospitals during the day. The noise fades. Conversations become whispers. The building breathes quietly, mechanically, endlessly. I pushed a cleaning cart down hallways where people stepped around me like furniture. Doctors passed without eye contact. Patients barely noticed my presence. I became background, and slowly I started believing I belonged there. Until the night everything changed. It happened during an ordinary shift, routine, predictable, forgettable. I was replacing a loose light fixture when my hand slipped against a sharp edge. Pain flashed quickly, sharp enough to make me gasp. A nurse insisted I visit the emergency room. Policy, she said. Just routine. Routine. That word, again. I sat on the examination bed waiting for stitches, thinking about nothing important, until the doctor returned with a look I had never seen before. Not concern, not urgency, recognition, like he had seen something that didn't belong. Then came the additional tests, more blood samples, more waiting, more silence, until finally 3 specialists walked in together. One of them spoke first. "Miss Brooks, were you aware that your biological father was adopted?" The question stunned me. "Yes," I said slowly. "He was adopted as a baby." The doctor nodded carefully. "That explains what we found." "What did you find?" I asked. He inhaled slowly before answering. "Your genetic profile matches a family whose medical records are permanently monitored due to their medical research legacy." The room felt smaller. "What family?" I whispered. He looked directly into my eyes. "The Hawthorne family." The name hit me like cold water. I had seen it before, on hospital wings, scholarship plaques, charity foundations. Power, wealth, legacy. "That's impossible," I said weakly. "They don't have heirs." The doctor's voice softened. "That's what the public believed." Silence filled the room like rising water. Then he said the words that changed everything. "You are the biological granddaughter of Arthur Hawthorne." For a long time, I didn't react, didn't breathe, didn't move. Then I laughed, not from joy, from disbelief. 3 months earlier, I had been scrubbing floors believing I was disposable, and now I was being told I belonged to one of the wealthiest medical families in the country. The days that followed blurred together into paperwork, tests, confirmations, and legal meetings. Every result confirmed the same truth. No mistake, no error, no reversal, just reality reshaping itself piece by piece. Ryan began calling again, at first cautiously, then desperately. "I heard something strange," he texted. "Call me." I didn't, because silence, I learned, is power when words have already been wasted. Eventually, the truth became public, not dramatically, quietly. A legal notice, a financial report, a sealed adoption file reopened. Then headlines followed. Speculation, recognition, attention. Ryan left voicemail after voicemail. "I made mistakes. We should talk." "We," that word meant nothing now. 6 months later, he lost his job. Not publicly, not dramatically, quietly. Reputation fades the same way it forms, slowly, deliberately, without announcement. The woman he left me for disappeared soon after. Ambition looks impressive until stability disappears. I never confronted him, never demanded apology, never sought revenge, because revenge requires emotion, and by then I felt none. Only distance, only peace. The stranger transformation wasn't financial, it was emotional. For the first time in years, my life belonged to me, not to expectation, not to survival, not to humiliation, just me. And that was the real inheritance. Not money, not property, freedom. And if there's one truth I learned from it all, it's this. When someone tells you to enjoy being nothing, they're revealing how little they understand about strength. Because sometimes losing everything is the only way to discover who you were truly meant to become.